Good evening, patriots around the world. We are live on this very windy Friday evening here in Spain. It's Friday the 13th of February 2026, and boy, do we have a lot of things to discuss this evening. Blimey, what a week it's been. Where do we even begin to start? Now, this show has been turned on its head this evening, just about 15-20 minutes ago. Look, we was going to be discussing the Palestine action ban, which has been overruled or has been ruled unlawful by the High Court today. Although it remains a proscribed terrorist group, judges say that the ban by the government was disproportionate. Let me know what you think about that one in the chat. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has opened up a can of worms with just one single word: colonised. That single word has sent the legacy media into utter meltdown this week, with the usual suspects: Gary Lineker, Owen Jones, Bush Rasake, Ash Sarkar, John Barnes, Sky News, the BBC, Uncle Tom Cobley and all, almost giving birth to kittens live on air because someone dared to speak the bloody truth. Oh, the uproar. Oh, the outrage. Another truth teller, Tommy Robinson, has allegedly been forced to flee the UK after death threats from ISIS, and there's probably more ISIS living in Luton now than there is left in Afghanistan these days. We're going to be touching on that possibly later on, and Keir Starmer has survived the most difficult week of his leadership. But for how much longer? How much longer can he go on? And who is going to replace him, and what will that look like? For the UK, we have the grandmother who has had her own grandchildren writing Valentine's cards to sex-starved migrants from countries where 9-year-olds are seen as fair play. What could possibly go wrong? What do you make of that utter insanity and wholly inappropriate BS? And what do you think about the proposed ban on auditors at protests? A good move, or is it just the authorities want to hide the truth from us? But of course, all of that this evening has been overtaken. The news of everything we was going to speak about tonight has been overtaken by this announcement that I saw just 25 minutes ago. Have a look at this bombshell.
I have chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship. This is the England I know, and this is the England that I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations, in what you leave behind to those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties: Reform, the Conservatives, the SDP, Advance, and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localised political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election. The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians. I promise you that. They will not be failed ministers. They will not be tainted by failures of the past. They will be from business, from the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment, and every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken. Because there are no easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful. But for the first time in a very long time, voters will have a genuine alternative which is truthful with them about the scale of what now has to be done. The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained and then deported. The message will be unrelenting. If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate, commits crime, or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave. Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go, then millions go. We're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work. A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered. Protecting those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men and women. If you can work, you must work. It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits. We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labour shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people. Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture. We must crush parasitic Britain. We will restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness. In short, a high-trust society. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. A Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful, but I assure you it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party. It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our first guest this evening is John Glendyne. John is, let me just change my setup there a minute so that I can get John on. John, good evening.
Evening, Paul. How are you? I hope your weather is better there than it is here.
It's a little bit better. It's a bit windy, John, but there you go. John, you introduce yourself, John, to the audience.
So I'm somebody who's never been involved in politics until Advance came along. And I came to the conclusion that the mission statement, which I hope you've all read because it's a brilliant bit of work, made such sense. Basically, it said whatever all parties should say, really. I listened to what Ben Habib said and the way he said it, and I like the way he set it up, and made the mistake of sending some comments in and therefore being invited to join the college. So I'm a member of the college. I'm surrounded by rather brilliant people, and I hope I can hopefully bring some common sense to it, rather than as you do, Paul.
Thank you.
That's it, really.
What do you make of, what's your initial thoughts on Rupert's announcement tonight?
So Rupert Lowe's done some really great stuff, particularly with this rape gang inquiry. He knows how to put things in a very straightforward sense, which anyone can understand. And he has a clear motivation to help this country. This is all very positive. He's come to a recognition clearly that he can't do what he wants to do without it being in the form of a political party. Having not been involved in whatever conversations may have happened between him and Advance, I can't really pass any comments on that. But those are all positives. In an ideal world, anyone who is working to save this country will work together, and I hope that's what will happen in whatever form it takes. That's about it, really. Cool.
Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it, John. I mean, look, my initial thoughts, for what they're worth, is that I think it's very strange, I have to be honest. I think it's a little bit of a peculiar move in many respects. I think the audience deserve to know the truth, because we have a lot of Rupert Lowe fans here. I'm a Rupert fan myself. You know, I respect him immensely, and I really, really appreciate the hard work that Rupert's put in, particularly to the rape gang inquiry. But look, the bottom line is, for me, John, is that Advance was set up quite clearly with Rupert very much in mind. Ben offered him the leadership right from the very start, for his own reasons at that particular time. He didn't feel that it was the right move for him at that moment. I felt that Rupert wanted to get the rape gang inquiry thing out the way, or that was my hope at least. And then he would come over. But I'm a bit baffled, because I've just watched that video, and basically he's pretty much repeating what Ben said at the launch.
The advanced mission statement.
Yeah, the advanced mission statement.
Absolutely.
I'm baffled. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I haven't spoke to Ben yet as such. I'm hoping to speak to him, if not this evening, then in the morning. As far as I'm aware, at least, there's been no forewarning. The policies look the same. And if I'm honest, I think
very close.
Yeah, I think people are exhausted. You know, I'm baffled. John,
I think it's
I'm
something we
baffled.
all need to sleep on, to be honest, because it's something that's in the ideal world, everyone would be working together, and that must be something that people who are interested in saving this country from the mess it's in must be prepared to do, whatever egos try to dictate. So
that's
I
the hope.
yeah, there's a lot of swallowing that's going to need to go on here, and a lot of many of us don't know exactly what negotiations may or may not have happened.
Well,
So
look, I don't know.
It's a tricky.
I don't know, John, but my guess, and I'm guessing now, and we're both on the college and we're not privy to what has been going on in the background. And I don't speak for the party officially or for Ben. I'm speaking for myself this evening, as you are. I believe, unless I'm wrong, and I'm sure that, I will be told, I get the feeling there hasn't been any communication. That's my guess. That's my initial thought. If I'm wrong, then, I'll say, oh, okay, I got that one wrong. I don't believe that Rupert personally has given any forewarning on this. And if I'm mistaken,
right,
I'll be surprised. Yeah, I'll be surprised. Yeah. I will be surprised.
One would have hoped that a message had gone in to Ben, for example, saying, look, I've decided to do this. I don't know if it did or it didn't. That would be the right thing to do, even if it's an unpopular thing.
Well, it would have been the gentlemanly thing to do, wouldn't it? I mean, look, as far as I'm aware, the party has been there for Rupert from day one. Our arms have been wide open to Rupert. We've publicly invited him. We've tried to coax him. We've wooed him. We've done everything bar buy him a bunch of flowers and a bottle of wine. And
yes,
I'm just baffled. I mean, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Maybe that's what he was waiting for. I don't know, right? But honestly, John, I'm disappointed.
We never know how much egos play in these things, Paul. And egos can be awfully destructive. But we are where we are.
We are where we are. I fear ego. I fear that's the word that's going to come into play. But look, John, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your initial thoughts on it as a fellow member.
Me, Paul. I've seen some amazing messages on your chat, and they go from enormous pros to enormous cons with everything in between. Yeah. And I don't think that's going to be uncommon. Let's just remember what the target is, which is saving this country.
Absolutely, and I've always driven for unity. John, thank you so much. I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. All the best to you, and keep up the good work in the college. Let me just get myself sorted. Farty Pants up next. Good evening, FP. How you doing?
Good evening, Paul. I hope you and the missus are keeping really well.
I am very well, thank you. What's on your mind this evening?
I uploaded a photograph for you to share with the people. This is happening in Belfast today. It's a foreign bomb maker released. He was from a certain demographic, and he was caught making explosive devices. And he was released today because he's no longer a terrorist threat.
Wow. No longer a terrorist threat.
Yeah. And he was caught red-handed building devices.
Unbelievable.
And another wee story I want to share with you briefly is the Republic of Ireland, the National Army is now recruiting migrants into their forces. And once they do that, they're going to get their Irish citizenship a lot faster. It's like a fast track to get their Irish citizenship. And then all their family will all come over and they'll all get their Irish citizenship. Like, what's the worst going to happen whenever you're handing a load of migrants weapons?
Yeah. Well, what could go wrong, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
What could go wrong?
Yep.
What do you make of this news tonight of Rupert Lowe restore Britain? I mean, personally, I prefer the term restore the UK, but
I'm with you. I'm with you. I prefer the word the United Kingdom, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to unite the kingdom. That's what the rallies are all about.
Yeah, and Britain,
Yep.
England, Ireland, Scotland. England, Wales, Scotland, United Kingdom, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, right?
Yeah, but then you see, whenever you're talking about the United Kingdom, the actual terminology is United Kingdom and Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Like we're like a last minute thought. We forgot to add the Northern Ireland into the United Kingdom, so we'll stick them on at the end.
Yeah, it's so. What is your thoughts on the Rupert situation?
I think he's doing the wrong thing, and there are people that support both Ben and Rupert. There's an awful lot of people out there that support the both of them, and when it comes to the crooks, who are they going to put their ex next to? Are they going to put their ex next to Rupert Lowe, a one-man party? Or are they going to put their ex with Advance that's a little bit more established?
Look, it's just my view. I think that Rupert has a little bit of what I would call presidency complex. We don't have presidents in this country.
Yeah, I'm reluctant to say anything bad about Rupert Lowe, and definitely I'm not going to say anything bad about Ben Habib, because the both of them are doing a good job, respectfully. And I don't like the idea of him starting up a new party on his own, because he's a one-man party.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, no doubt a lot will come out in the wash, but as I say, I am a little bit baffled and confused this evening. As I said, I think it's a very peculiar move after everything that's gone on, but
yes.
We'll see. FP, thank you very much for coming on.
Just before I go, I hope your missus is going to get one of those big, massive, 4-foot tall Valentine's padded cards tomorrow.
Well, we'll see. I'll let you know in the next stream.
One of those cards that takes 2 postmen to deliver.
All the best, you mate. Thanks for coming on.
Paul. Take care.
You take care, mate. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let's have a little look who is up next. Jack, how you doing, Jack? Jack, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, not bad, mate. What do you make of this evening? What do you make of this evening's announcement?
Rupert Lowe, his new party. I think that he's done a good job with it, if I'm honest. But I would recommend this to him if I was one of his close advisors. Maybe get Ben and Nick on board at the same time, so at least party politics by that point in fractured as much.
Well, I do, Jack, but the problem is he's already had that chance with Ben and he's turned his back on it. Why would he suddenly, what I don't understand is Ben set up this party with Rupert in mind. Rupert has clearly turned his back on that, started up his own party. That would suggest to me that he doesn't want to be involved with Ben. That's just my, I haven't got any inside information on that, but that's the conclusion that I'm coming to this evening, that Ben isn't good enough for him. And I'm confused. As I said, right at the top of the show, I said I'm baffled by the decision. And like many others, you, me, John that was just on, FP, we all like Rupert Lowe. We all support Rupert. He's a patriot. He's a great businessman. He talks very, very well indeed. He always makes sense when he speaks, Rupert. He's a man that when he speaks, people listen. But I'm baffled. I'm truly baffled. He had it all there again. I mean, this... for me, this smacks a little bit of Nigel Farage syndrome. The ego, the one-man band. I want to be top dog. I'm confused. Maybe I've got it wrong, but we don't get any. This is the other thing, Jack. We don't get any answers from Rupert. Rupert is very selective as to who he speaks to, and that's fine. I don't expect him to come on this show, but he is very selective. He refuses interviews with anyone pretty much that you would class as being one of that lot. That concerns me greatly. But for the good of the country, if it's the right thing, I'd put all that to one side. But I'm just, I'm confused. I have to say I'm confused.
Yeah, it's a bit funny that Rupert hasn't responded to Ben. I'm not sure why, and not going to speculate too much on it just in case I get it wrong, but I think Richard Inman, hasn't he said to you on some of your previous live streams that there might be people who are a bit, a bit further to the right than, let's say, Ben and Rupert are, who are probably, trying to stick with Rupert, but stay at where you are.
Yeah, definitely, Jack. I mean, by the way, a lot of people asking where Richard is tonight. He's on his way back from London to Northern Ireland. He's been over on a bit of business, and that's why he's not been available. Jack, I've got a lot of people waiting, my friend. Thank you for coming on, as always. You're always welcome, mate. Have a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of the show. Graham is up next. Graham, can you hear me?
Hey, Paul. Can hear you clear.
How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind? What do you make of this evening's big announcement?
I think it's absolute great news. I'm super happy personally. I'm a big Rupert supporter. To your point, I don't know what's happened behind the scenes, what's happened with Advance. I think Rupert's kind of hinted at it many times. Is it an option to join Advance? Potentially. I've seen him on podcasts. But I think he's become a big profile. And I think something that's maybe not been said too much tonight is, aside from maybe the viewers of your channel, maybe like the everyday people who's not really into politics and maybe, just get on with working each day, don't pay too much attention. I think they're even now starting to mention Rupert's name.
Look, I'll agree with that. I mean, I would say, Graham, look, you're absolutely right. As far as profile is concerned, Rupert certainly has the bigger profile. Whether that will remain the same now with the... excuse me one sec. Sorry, I'm just replying to someone. Whether that will remain the case, now he's set up his own party, GB News, Talk TV, etc., and certainly the more mainstream media outlets may well go down the Ben route and give him the blank, as it were. But if I can, Graham, and, look, bearing in mind, we're all on the same side here, right? And this is a friendly back and forth, yeah, but I want to ask you some questions. When you say it's a great thing that Rupert set up this party, I'm a bit confused as to why that will be. What's great about it for you, my friend?
I think it's great that Rupert is an MP in Parliament, and I think that can't be ignored. And I think he's clearly done his job that he set out to do with Restore, which was obviously the inquiry which he's launched, or coming to a conclusion, or it's ended. I'm not too sure on the status, but also the cross-party politics.
Yeah,
I think he put up speak about a Labour MP that backed something or came to the inquiry. So he's clearly doing his bit in Parliament regarding cross-party politics, and I think therefore he's taking Restore to the next level, outside of the cross-party politics that he's doing, into obviously a political movement. Personally, being fully transparent, I have been a member of Advance. I did retract my membership. I won't go into kind of my reasons right now, but my full backing was behind Rupert. If Rupert joined Advance, I'd rejoin Advance. But yeah, I was personally waiting to see what Rupert was doing next.
Okay, I mean, look, as I said, we're all on the same side. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm glad you come on, because look, I'm going to be honest with you. My loyalty is with Ben. It will remain with Ben. I think Ben has been the bigger man here, but that, I'm prepared to put country first always. But that's been my problem. I tell you what, that's been my problem, Graham, with Nigel. He didn't put his country first. He put himself and his party first, and I just get a little whiff of that with Rupert. Maybe I'm wrong. Time will tell.
Yeah, I think potentially it's probably the people that's around Rupert. I imagine whether it's
Yes.
business people, whether it's other people in politics, or or in the scene of politics, shall I say, rather than obviously politicians. And I clearly think he has a very close circle around him, and he probably wants to take that close circle with him into the movement, well, obviously into the new party now. So I think that may be it. Obviously, I don't know what's happened with Rupert Ben, as you rightly said. Not too much gets said about it. I guess from both parties, actual conversations. It'd be great to see maybe a bit more from Ben of what's gone on, what's happened, why it didn't work out, and obviously same from Rupert. But yeah, Ben's a great guy. I've met Ben in
Yeah.
person. I met him in a
Yeah.
train station. He had the time to, get up, shake my hand as I kind of walked past, and he gave me about 15 minutes of his time. And absolute great guy. And
Yeah.
I'd love to see him maybe step in as a chairman or something. But I think even down to the name, I just think Restore, everything, the branding of Restore, for me, it's just a lot stronger than Advance.
Perfectly take those points. So one question I would like to leave you with: when you say you'd like to see Ben, maybe join as chairman, the question I have then is why did Rupert not take up the chance to lead Advance? So why would he now invite Ben? I don't think he's going to invite Ben on board. I really don't. That's my gut feeling. And I think that's a huge shame, because together they were the dream team for me.
Absolutely, and maybe they still can be. I don't know Rupert. I don't know what's going through his head, what his maybe advisors or people around him saying and whatnot. Maybe he doesn't want to be associated to certain people. I don't know. I don't know what it is, and hopefully Rupert will obviously come out with some more answers. But I think for now, I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, yourself what to do. Everyone's independent. Yeah. But for me, I'm fully back in Restore now. I see this as one of the best things that can happen right now to save the UK.
Thank you, Graham. I really appreciate you coming on, my friend. Stay tuned and have a lovely weekend. All the best there. Thank you, Graham. Graham is supporting Rupert. We've got a very important guest that's coming on. Sorry, everyone in the rating room, you're going to get bumped because you're going to have to get one. You're going to have to get at the back of the queue, everyone, because we've got the wonderful Howard Cox. Howard, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right, my friend. And yes, still taking in the news.
I tell you what, the back room, the green room is going crazy. I've got more people here in the waiting room than your average QPR home game, mate. I've got to tell you. So, go on.
Don't forget, I support Crystal Palace, and they're plummeting. You see, at the moment.
I should have said Palace, shouldn't I? But there you go.
Yeah.
I don't those bloody ultras after me. Go on.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I won't stay on too long because you've got a lot of. I think listening to what people think is a good thing, but from my point of view, it's a shock. I'm not totally surprised by what's happened, and I'm in contact with Rupert, and not on a regular basis, but every sort of 10 days we message each other and talk, and this has come out of the blue. That it's happening now on Friday the 13th and late on a Friday night as well. All sorts of things before a weekend. I thought the Inland Revenue is the only ones that give you the bad news on a Friday. But from my point of view, I don't see it totally as bad news. I do see it as not opportune. And there's obviously some problems that Rupert has found with Advance. It may be some personality issues. I don't know. But all those sorts of things, we're going to just speculate, and I'm not going to speculate too far on this, except to say, I think, Ben, I think he's told us in the college, I think you're privy to that, he's going to actually sleep on it and come out with information over the weekend, how he feels. I've told him I've given him my 100% support, both him and Advance. It's not just Ben, it's Advance, because that party, the way it's been set up, is perfect for me because I haven't moved away from my position of trying to save this country and what I want this country to believe. It was, as you know, I was in Reform, and Reform moved away from me. And whether we take on the Tommy Robinson issue as well, because bear in mind he's under threat from ISIS now. All sorts of things are happening today, which you alluded to at the beginning of your show. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this could come out positively. I think Rupert's made a mistake because he was so anti setting up a political party. He just wanted a think tank type, movement type setup. And, and quite right, you've made the point endlessly, the fact he was offered the leadership of Advance UK. So everything's been laid on the plate for him. So, and when I listened to his thing, and you played it to his launch speech today, it is exactly what Ben said and what we said last week and what we've been working on the college for. Our policies, little things like banning the hijab, whatever it's called, the thing they wear, those sorts of things. He came out, and deporting people that are here illegally. We said all those things ages ago. All those things, Paul, are very much at the heart of Advance UK. And the college is made up of, well over 30, 40 decent, critical thinking people, good intellects, good experienced people. And it'd be wrong, in my opinion, for Rupert just to disregard that type of influence and that type of, basically experience, and by going separately. Because guess what's going to be the headline from Reform tomorrow? Well, the right's being split again. They're going to laugh. They're all the way. They laugh at our expense. But I'm confident this could come out in a positive way, Paul. But I like you use the words, you're baffled. That I agree. And I'm not going to speculate any further to say, but I do believe Ben will come up with a solution, and I will support him in whatever way he decides to come up with that solution.
Absolutely, Howard. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I've got to get rid of you, Howard, because I can't have anyone on the screen that's better looking than me. So off you go.
Take care, mate. See you soon.
All the best, Howard. Lovely to have you on, mate. Take care. Have a great weekend, Howard.
Thank you, Paul.
Let's have a little look here. My phone is going absolutely wild. The WhatsApp groups are burning. Electro Doc, you'll be up in a minute. Then we've got Scotty John, Ty Haggis, Kevin, Lucy, Steve Edwards, Rodney Williams, Julie Blackman, and there's a few more waiting as well. Before we do that, I just want to say this. It's very important to me. One of the reasons that I'm concerned about Rupert and his motives behind setting up this new party this evening, let me just grab my paperwork, it's going all over the place. The working class people of this country, ordinary people of this country, we needed a political party. We needed a home. And I'm just not sure, I'm not convinced that Rupert hasn't perhaps overestimated his standing here. He's a very popular man with a very good, solid and popular message. But for me, the difference is right from day one, Nigel Farage could have had it all, and he blew it because of his ego. He blew it because he wanted to be the boss. He wanted to be the main man, numero uno. We all know the rest, right? That has led to Rupert's departure from Reform, Restore. And then we've got Rupert out on his own as the Lone Ranger, as it were, in Parliament, saying all the right things, doing all the right things. Ben set up Advance, asked Rupert to join him, asked him on more than one occasion to join him, offered him pretty much, I believe, any position he wanted within the party. That was turned down. The only person that I see here all along from day one, when we look at Rupert, we look at Nigel, and we look at Ben, there's only one man that has had the will and the integrity and the honesty to try and unite everyone, and that's been Ben Habib. Only one man has been willing to engage with the working class. That lot. That man is Ben Habib. Only one man for me has kept his word every single step of the way and has shown integrity every single step of the way. Now, I could say that Rupert has done the same, but having said that, I'm going to say this. If Rupert hasn't pre-warned Ben that this was going to take place, then pardon the pun, but I think that was a bit low. Electrodoc, you're up next. Sorry for the wait, my friend. Let me get you on stage. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fine and dandy, thanks. Ed's still
Good,
spinning
man.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Ed's
what do
still
you make
spinning.
of it?
Yeah, so well, I've written them down anyway, so I'm not umming and ahhing now. As long as I can read my own handwriting, which is on the notepad on the computer, I will be fine and dandy. You're probably just as much in the dark as what I am as well, Paul. Obviously, this is brand new news, and it's just mind blowing. So do we get to communicate our ideas into Restore like we do in Advance? As you know, from our own particular party, don't know. Or does our membership fee simply become a donation to the party like Reform members' donations do? Their membership fees, in my opinion, I think they're just donations to the party. What do you think to that?
What, to Restore, you mean, or to Advance?
Well, yeah, both really. Do you think I'm right with the Reform members actually paying to be a member, and it's basically just a donation? They have no say in the party.
Well, look, I think to be fair, look, I'm not the treasurer of any party, and I don't really understand the financials of politics. What I do know is, to be fair, and being honest about it, is that any political party, which is essentially in many respects a business, it has to be run like a business. It has to make a profit. It has to buy things. It has to pay staff. Look, everyone needs to make money. So the memberships, whatever you want to call it, the memberships, the joining fees, if the political parties are being run correctly, and I have no reason to suspect that any of them aren't being run correctly, that money would go down the right routes. Yeah. But like I say, I've never been the treasurer of a political party, so
I suppose my second question kind of correlates with that one as well. Will the advance, because us as members, we feel like we're a part of the party.
Yeah,
we feel like that we can make a difference in the party, even by communicating, such as yourself, as I'm doing right now, and as we have done on our channel before, as you know. Okay, so will the Advance UK college foundations crumble if Advance decide to form a coalition, leaving all the decisions to be left up to Rupert's staff?
Well, look, I can't speak for the party, so I've got to reiterate that the words that I say tonight belong to me and belong to me only. They're not coming from Ben Habib, from the leadership of the party in any way, shape, or form. But my gut feeling is, knowing Ben as I do, I don't think he'll shift, and I'll tell you why I don't think he'll shift. I think it's because he's the most honourable man in politics. I believe that he's a man on his mission. He is a leader because he feels he needs to be a leader, not because he wants to be a leader. Yeah. And again, this is the problem I've got with Nigel and with Rupert now as well. I mean, is this just about leadership, or is this about winning our country back? Is this about ego or about everyone else? Now, you've just rightly pointed out there, and something came up the other night after the policy was released last week. There was talk and some murmuring about dual nationality. That was immediately fed back to the leadership, immediately fed back to the policy writers, and it is being dealt with as we speak. I don't know another political party where things can be actioned that quickly.
Right.
And where people, every ordinary people, I mean, there's 2,700 people watching this stream right now, and I guarantee that members of the college and members of the hierarchy from Advance UK will be watching the comments. They'll be listening to the viewers. They're trying to read the room. They're trying to get it right. And that's because we believe we are the genuine People's Party. Yeah. And I just wish that Rupert had been part of it.
So I suppose that's leads me to like a summary. It's so be gentle. There's got how many 2,500 people watching. So if we are one of those 2,500 people who happens to stumble across any of our channels, and it's channels like ours that have to pick up the pieces.
Give it a shout, mate. Give your channel a shout.
Oh, the Wizard's Words or Electrodoc 1968 on here. It's channels like ours who've got to pick up the pieces and hope to mend the split caused by what comes about from whatever decision is made. I think Ben is going to join Rupert. to be honest. And there's already a split in the live chat. You can see it, mate. You know what I mean? So, you know, oh, what an headache. So we've got to pick up all these pieces, stitch them all together, and then, you know, hopefully, and then keep promoting whichever party is the best for the, you know, for England. Which is what we stand for as well on the Wizard Words. And I'm rather a sporadic uploader, but I have just done actually of Rupert Lowe joining, you know, making this new party before I came online. So anyway, yeah, thanks very much for trying to listen, and I shall see you next week in person, young man.
No problem. All the best, you mate. You take care.
I shall give you a high 2.5. All right.
All the best. Yeah. Take care. Thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Let me just move you over. Bye. There you go. Scotty John is up next. Scotty John, how you doing? Good evening.
Not bad, Paul. Yourself?
I'm very well, mate. I'm trying to deal with my phone, the live stream, the viewers, and the chat. I've got to tell you, it's like trying to pat your belly and rub your head at the same time whilst dancing on one leg. What's on your mind, mate?
Well, Rupert Lowe, basically.
Pardon me?
I watched that video about Rupert Lowe when it first came out, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. Everything he said, I agree with you. It was Ben's speech from last Saturday, pretty much, with the halal ban bolted on at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you know, I don't want to keep repeating myself. This show tonight is for the viewers to have their say, but I'm just baffled. It's a very peculiar one for me.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but something clearly is.
Well, I have things on my mind, but I'm going to save them for the moment because they're quite explosive. I believe I know the reason behind this, right?
Okay.
But I'm going to keep my powder keg dry for this evening at least, because I think it's the gentlemanly thing to do. And more than anything, I want to pay our leader, Ben Habib, the respect to give him the chance to have his say. And
well, that's it. He hasn't had the chance to come out and say anything
let's give Ben the chance to think this over. But I'm disappointed. He had the chance to join Ben. A lot of people in the chat are saying, oh, look, Ben and Rupert are going to join together. Do you know what now? I can't see it.
I can't see it, but
I can't see it.
It would be the best way forward.
Of course it would. We all know that. This is the frustration, Scotty, right? You know that. I know that. Every single person in the chat knows that.
Yep.
Ben knows that. That leaves one person that hasn't sussed it.
That hasn't sussed it out and is not reading the room.
So, I don't know, unless I've got it wrong, we will see.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I will always stand behind Ben because he has never put his foot wrong. Since he started Advance, I've agreed with everything that he's done.
Yep.
And I've never met the man, but you can tell just by listening to him. If you actually listen to the man, you can tell he's genuine.
I tell you something even more important, Scotty, and there's not many people watching this now who will have had this benefit. I was with Ben for 15 minutes the first time I ever met him, and I thought I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
He listens to every word. I mean, who the bloody hell am I, right? He listens to every word. He takes it in. He considers. He pays respect.
Yep.
But more than anything, he cares. Now, look, I'm not a Ben Habib sycophant. I've got nothing to gain. I'm not on any payroll. I'm just telling everyone what I see for myself. Now, if I misjudge Ben, then I've made the biggest mistake in my life. And I'll be the first to admit it. Yep.
That's it.
I'll be the first person to admit it.
Everything's just up in the air just now, isn't it?
It is up in the air. You know, I hope that can I use the word represent? You know, a lot of people will say, oh, you don't represent me, 4P, and they'd be right. I don't represent anyone, but I do believe that I represent a lot of my viewers' thoughts and views, and the only people that haven't been willing to engage with, I'm going to call them the working class, the average everyday Brit on the street, and that comes on these streams, whether it be me, Jeff Taylor, Mad Susie, whoever it is. The only people that have really not played ball is Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe. Again, you know, but look.
It's funny you mentioned Tusi. I had a little back and forth with him on his live stream earlier about this when this news broke. I said to him, I was like, I said to Tusi, why is he repeating Ben's speech from last Saturday? And Tusi's response was basically along the lines of, we need to stop advertising all the parties ourselves, leave them a year or so to grow, and then see what they're saying after that, and let the parties attract us as opposed to us advertising them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Advance are the
don't know.
fastest. Yeah, Advance are the fastest growing political party, I believe, of all time. You know, in the short space. So I'm not sure that I agree with. We have to let them get on with it, not discuss it, and let them evolve. You know, they need our help and they need supporters and they need to get their word out. I mean, look, even though I'm sitting here tonight, probably coming across as not Rupert's biggest fan, which is actually. You know, I repeat, I'm a big fan of Rupert. I like him. I like the way he speaks. I like everything that he does. I mean, if Rupert was Prime Minister tomorrow, I'd go out there, do a song and dance and run down the street bloody naked, right? But
it's not that I don't like the man. I like everything that he's done. I just don't like some of his recent decisions. That's the thing that's getting to me.
Yeah. Sky, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries, Paul. Thanks very much.
You, mate. All the best. Ty, you're up next. Ty, good evening.
Good.
Sorry for the wait, everyone, but there's a few people. Kevin, you're up next, and it's Lucy.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good evening, even.
Good evening. Good night, even.
Where are you in the world?
I am in a pokey little town near Edinburgh.
So it's good evening.
Yeah.
I'm only 1 hour. I'm only 1 hour ahead of you up there in Edinburgh. What a beautiful city, by the way. Only been there a couple of times, but one of the most beautiful cities in the United Kingdom. How you doing?
Yeah, it's the crown jewels, the hidden crown jewels.
It is.
But we're part of a politically disunited kingdom up here. So
yeah, indeed. What's on your mind? What do you make of the news this evening?
I'm devastated because Mr. Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe are virtually repeating exactly. They've got the same synergistic energy, and they're reverberating. They're on the same frequency, but yet they've politically disunited themselves. But they're working towards a common political goal.
I tell you what, I've got to just pull you on that one. It's not Ben that's disuniting themselves; it's Rupert.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. And the real crux of the matter is, we're staring over a precipice, politically and culturally here in the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
and we need these two leaders, these great men, these great, centurion warriors, to come together and push forward in an attacking, because they would have an army. I mean, well, Ben Habib already has an army behind him. We're the Roman warriors behind, and we're ready to form up and push forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, good call. I mean, he also has the United Kingdom movement behind him as well, which Rupert has declined, rightly or wrongly. I mean, Rupert might feel that that's a wise decision, and there are people probably watching this right now that would agree that avoiding the United Kingdom movement is probably the best route if he's going to move forward politically. I would say that's the wrong thing to do. And I tell you why, because it doesn't matter what Rupert does now. Now he's set up his own political party. Rupert's message will now be, look how they treated Sir Jim Ratcliffe this week over one word, colonising. Look how the media have gone into absolute meltdown over one word. Can you imagine what they're going to try and do and how they'll treat Rupert Lowe? And at the moment, at least from what we see, Rupert's on his own. He hasn't really necessarily got He certainly hasn't got a college, and I don't think he'll have one. I think Rupert will be the leader. He'll be the main man, and that is it. He'll have his advisors, no doubt. I think I know who they are already. I think it's fairly obvious the people that Rupert is sort of courting at the moment. Again,
yeah, I agree that
disappointed.
Well, the Unite the Kingdom. I don't know why he's shying away from that, because I mean, I was there on September the 13th, was it? I've forgotten the date actually, but I was there. Ollie just made it, and we had a Black Afro Christian choir service. We had many ministers of Christianity there, Kai Jur being one of them, Ricky Doolin being another. So we're not that lot, as they said, as Farage would say. We're not that lot, the typical skinhead type, knuckle dragging, racist, as they like to put us across as. We're quite intelligent people that were there, standing, waving beautiful British Union Jacks high. Some were too high, and they actually blocked the screen. I was at the back trying to look at the screen. I had to look through all these tens of thousands of flags waving about. So if he was to go down the Farage route and classes as that lot, he's committing political suicide.
I don't think he'll do that. I think Rupert is far too switched on to do anything like that. I just think that maybe he feels that the United Kingdom movement is maybe a little bit too toxic for him, which I get. I've always got the fact that Nigel Farage wanted to keep, let's call it a healthy distance between himself and Tommy Robinson and the United Kingdom movement, and I understand that. But what I can't make out of Rupert is I think he's got people in his ear that will possibly be far further to the right than the United Kingdom movement. I'm not sure.
That could be a possibility. That could be a strong possibility. I hope not. I pray that it isn't. But
we'll see. Just my thoughts. So thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to move on to Kevin. God bless you.
No
God
problem.
bless Edinburgh. Beautiful city. If you've not been to Edinburgh, it is actually amazing. So I thank you so much. Kevin, you are up next, my friend. Kevin, good evening.
Good evening, Paul. How you doing?
I'm good, boss. How are you?
Good. It's just a really quick one, Paul. I'm just wondering if there's some legal gravity that might come towards Rupert's inquiry he's carrying out at the moment,
right?
As a political party. Just thinking outside the box, because you can't have two people so aligned, going down the same carriageway, trying to get to the same destination. And it's just too confusing. But with this inquiry that Rupert's running, I'm just wondering if some kind of legality or something to do with being a political party that will give the final results of the inquiry a lot more gravitas.
Look, if that was behind, if that's Rupert's thinking and that is the method behind, then that would be understandable. But again, I have to go back. He could have done that with advance.
But then there's a problem. I just think there's advance at the moment is clean, isn't it? It's going down a nice straight path. Yeah, everyone knows what they're doing. You're open about everything. Everyone can see your direction of travel. I just always had this feeling that there's something Rupert's up to that he would love to tell us about and love to put forward, but sometimes putting all your exposing yourself in a certain way can cause more problems, redirect, you know what I mean?
Very interesting you say that. I think there's, for me, and I'm going to leave people hanging on this one. There are two things that Rupert hasn't told us. Well, only one now. The two things, I believe there are two things that Rupert has never told us. The first one, that he planned to set up his own political party all along. And the second thing I don't think Rupert has told us, I'm not going to say, but I think people will have to work it out for themselves as they go down the line. That is my humble opinion. And as I say, you know, Julie says he and Ben will unite. Ben has already said this. You know, the thing that Julie, Ben can say whatever he likes. I can say that I'm going to unite with Rupert, but if Rupert doesn't want to unite with me, it ain't going to happen. And that is now the feeling that I'm afraid I am getting. I've got to put this one up. This one made me laugh. Chris has thrown in a curveball here. Prince Andrew's still not been nicked yet. Kevin...
I just feel that there's just something, unless they, I just feel travelling down the same path, yeah, you're going to come together at the end of the road.
What do you think? What do you think Rupert could have in store for us?
I'm not sure. I just think there's a lot more that he knows, yeah, that I don't think we're privileged to knowing at the moment. And certain protections you need to put in place, because politics is so dirty. I mean, it is the scum of the earth, isn't it? I mean, it's like been ever since the bloody Normans invaded, it's been corrupt.
That is why I love Advance UK, because we really were, or we really are, and we intend to break the mould.
And that's what I can see. Everyone can see that direction, because, as I say, anybody who puts himself out there to be sacked, if they need to be, you can't argue with that, can you? I mean, it's like, if he's not doing a job, bye-bye, Ben, you know, you're not the man. But I just feel maybe there's too much mechanics in politics to be straightforward. We all look at it in a very straightforward way.
Yeah.
And Farage doesn't. He's like a spider's web, isn't he? Because he's seen it all coming. And politics is a spider's web. And maybe...
He's a very clever man.
Yeah, and I just think maybe Rupert and Ben may be even more privileged to certain things, but withholding himself because of the mechanics of politics. Yeah, you know, you cannot expose yourself too early. And building two parties doesn't mean you can't literally totally unite at the time of an election.
Yeah, I get that, and you know, you could be right, but as I said, I'm going to stick to what I said at the beginning. I'm baffled, disappointed, and
I think everybody is, because it's like, as I say, when you're so aligned, it's like there's no reason. But that's because it's so mind blowing. You know, it's like you're almost reading the same script. Why you're not? So I really do believe there's some kind of legal framework or something to do with the rape inquiries or whatever it is, that there's a problem, you know what I mean? And by giving himself maybe his own political party, it will carry a hell of a lot more gravitas in the quagmire of Parliament.
I'd love to think that you were right, Kevin. I'd love to think that you were right. Unfortunately, I think it's more about Rupert wanting to be in charge of everything. Kevin, I'm going to move on, mate.
Yeah,
thank you so much for hopping on. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Lucy, you are up next.
Evening, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, Lucy. Your audio is superb. What have you got on your mind?
Right. Because I have no life, Paul, all my life is just politics at the minute, just looking at what's going on. But I did notice something last year, and I thought, now that's really strange. So I'm quite positive about this. And the reason for that is I think Ben and Rupert have been leaving us some breadcrumbs that maybe people haven't picked up on. So Advance UK came into being on the 30th of June, and that's when I joined. And Restore Britain happened to come into play on the 30th of June. And I thought, isn't that interesting? And so I decided to join both of them. So I'm a member of Advance and I'm a member of Restore. And I just thought, that's really interesting. And then later in the year, when it came to the podcast Fear This, that was announced. On the exact same day as that announcement, the Restore Britain podcast was announced.
Mm.
And I just thought, now that's very interesting. And that makes me think that Ben and Rupert have been having some form of communication behind the scenes. I don't really understand why. You should have heard my language earlier, Paul, when I saw that he had set up a new party. I won't say what I said, wasn't great, but I just couldn't understand it. But then I sit back and I think they've been kind of leading us some form of breadcrumbs, some form of pattern that they've been having some form of conversations about these two organisations. This is my theory. And I don't know whether conversations earlier in the year, last year, with a certain South African American powerful man, most powerful man in the world, has impacted a two-prong approach. Is it Rupert to do Restore, create the movement in Parliament, and then Ben set up the party so that gets the Unite the Kingdom and everyone rallied behind? I don't know, but there seems to be something happening there, and I just wonder if there's been conversations that have happened.
Lucy, that's a great. Would it be a conspiracy theory? I guess.
I think it is a bit of a conspiracy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great conspiracy theory, Lucy, and I tell you what, I hope you're right. And if you are right, I'm going to be pissed off because I tell you now, I'm not part of it. Right, so I'm going to be.
This is what I thought.
If you're right, I'm going to get on the phone to Ben and say, "I thought you trusted me, Ben. You never told me about this."
I just feel like it's very odd timing for both of those things, and it's for both of those organisations, and it was on both of these announcements were on the same days, and I just sit and think that is very strange. So I am keeping positive, and it's really sad that I noticed that, but it's only because of my memberships when I joined up on the same day.
Do you know something? I actually hadn't noticed that, and look, it is a very credible theory. I'm going to be honest with you and say that I think it's wishful thinking. That's my belief. That's my belief. I think Rupert, and again, I've got to stress for the third time this evening, because we've got nearly 3,000 people watching across all the platforms, and some of them will have come in a little bit later. So I've got to just repeat that I do not speak on behalf of the party. I'm speaking on behalf of what's in my heart and what's in my head, and speaking to my viewers tonight. I believe, it's my own belief, that Rupert has slight illusions of grandeur. He is the MP.
do agree with that, to be fair.
Yeah, he is the MP. He is a little bit more elitist than Ben. Even though they come from very similar backgrounds, they're both hugely successful businessmen. For me, Ben is far more relatable to people outside of what you might call his comfort zone or his social comfort zone. Ben will have a pint down the pub with the boys and he'll be fine. I'm sure Rupert's the same. He's been the managing director or the owner of a football club. I just don't see it, Lucy. I just feel that Rupert wants this all for himself, just like Nigel Farage.
Although after that, I went onto Facebook, because then I was like, what's being said on Facebook? And I went to the comments under his post, because obviously that's the only way we can tell what people are thinking. And I did see him reply to someone's comment saying, someone had put, you and Ben need to team up, And he had put, Ben and Advance are absolutely welcome to join. And this what just makes me think, is there something? I don't know. I'm going with my conspiracy theory because it's the only way I'll sleep tonight without having the answer.
Lucy, you do that, hon, and you get a good night's sleep, because I'll tell you what, I've not been sleeping very well recently. It does me bloody head in all this stuff, but it is what it is. Lucky we've all got each other to do our heads in together, right? But
exactly that.
Lucy, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. You have a lovely weekend and a good night's sleep. And a good night's sleep. All the best. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We got Julie up next, and it's the one and only Danny in Spain will be up soon. Then we got Tony. Then we got the wonderful Alan. and then Rodney. So, Julie, you are up next. Julie, good evening. How are you tonight, darling? Julie, can you hear me? Has Julie nodded off there?
I'm all right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Julie. Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, I've lost my volume.
Right, Julie. I'll pop you out, Julie, and I'll bring you back in a minute. It's Danny in Spain, or Danny in, where are you? You in Spain, Danny?
No, I'm in Spain, Paul. I'm in Spain. Can you hear me all right?
You're not Danny in Barbados, or?
Yeah, I wish I was Danny in Barbados.
I can hear you, mate. I can hear you.
How are we all?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
I can't moan, Paul. I can't moan. I was just watching your channel and see the link, and I thought I'd jump on, say hello to everyone. And yeah, you know me with political stuff. I don't really talk about it too much anymore, but I thought I'd jump on and give me 2 pennies worth.
Yeah, go on. What are you?
Well,
I
think it's a lot. You know, Rupert's let a lot of people down. There's a lot of comments tonight. I've been watching the comments, and does it look like I've frozen? Oh no, I've not. I've paused it.
No,
on the
you're
telly.
right,
Sorry,
mate. Go on,
mate.
carry
Sorry,
on.
mate. Yeah, and I think again this could be another split of the vote, couldn't it? Again, so we've got now, you know, reform. We've also got advance, and now obviously restore. So we've got 3 parties really all batting in the same court.
Yeah, yeah.
And is that just making a Labour possibility stronger again?
Do you know what, Danny? I don't think reform are batting in the same court as restore and advance. I think they're a party of broken promises, or they will be a party of broken promises. Tories, Mark. So, I mean, advance and restore, yes, very similar in many respects. But as I was saying to the previous guest, I just don't understand. You know, and apparently, according to Lucy, Rupert has said, well, people or advance are welcome to join restore. Well, why didn't you just join advance? Why didn't you just take the leadership when it was offered to you?
Absolutely.
You know,
it seems a lot of manpower, doesn't it, to set up 2 separate things, especially in the end if they do end up combining or joining, whatever.
Danny,
It just
it's
seems like
bullshit.
there's
For
an
me,
awful
it's
lot of
bullshit.
manpower.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, what Lucy was saying just now before, I mean, if that's true, then maybe she's onto something, to be fair. But, you know, as you say, it might be just conspiracy, but who knows? I mean, that's an interesting fact, though, something to watch.
Look, I can't say for sure, but I'll be very, very surprised if Ben had any forewarning here. And if he didn't, if Rupert hadn't informed Ben ahead of his announcement tonight, well, then I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, we may see them join forces at some stage, I would say, but again, it's, you know, it's early days yet, isn't it? It's brand new, so we've just got to wait and see, you know, where it all goes, I guess. Yeah, where it all goes, mate.
So before I move on, mate, 'cause I've got loads of people waiting in the room. How are you and yourself? You all right?
Nope. Yeah, I've been all right, mate. Just same old thing, mate. I've been a bit quiet on my YouTube channel, as probably most people, well, some people would know. But I'm getting back into it. I've got a couple of videos just gone up. So yeah, it's all right, mate. I'm just ducking and diving, you know, bobbing and weaving, as they say.
I saw your video earlier on. Apparently, you're thinking of going off grid. If you are, Danny, I've got a nice 2-bedroom shed in the back garden here that is
sounds good, mate. How much do you want a month for it?
Well, if it's cash in hand, Danny, I'll take €50 a night. How about that?
€50 a night. Yeah, that sounds like a deal, doesn't it? Only €1,500 a month.
And the Rottweiler will come and tuck you in every night and make sure your plate's clean.
That's a deal breaker, I'm afraid. I am not having him coming round and nibbling at me nuts anymore. All right, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. All the best, Danny.
All right,
love
mate.
you,
I'll catch up with you soon.
Care.
Love to everyone. See you soon.
Cheers, Danny. Bye. We got Tony up next. Tony, good evening, brother. How you doing?
Hi, mate. I'm doing pretty well, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
And you?
Quick point about Tommy Robinson, just because I'm sure he'll be watching this or he'll see this at some point. Just to let you know, Tommy, you're our Robin Hood of this modern age. You are our Robin Hood. All the best to you, mate, wherever you are in the world. We're praying for you. We're praying that you're taken care of. Number 2, I'm thinking Rupert Lowe might actually be doing Advance a favour. The news media is already calling Advance like the far right, and all of this nonsense, which is just basically is ridiculous. I mean, you know, my personal thought of a political absolute powerhouse would be if Kemi was to defect and go over to advance. It would be perfect, because I think what she did a couple of weeks ago in parliamentary questions in destroying the prime minister was absolutely amazing, and she should be invited to advance for that one. However, the people that Rupert Lowe is going to be attracting, especially given what he's doing with the inquiry, the things that he's discovering, the things that he's finding, the feelings he's going to be having, I think he's going to be the place, because UKIP is too Christian for the ethno-nats. I think he's going to be the one who the ethno-nats are going to rally around. I think that is going to draw a lot of that negative far right attention away from Advance, away from UKIP. And actually, I'm wondering if maybe Rupert is perhaps putting himself out there because he's possibly seen, and I hope that this is true, although it's probably not, it could be egos. But given the way that the news media is lambasting everybody, having a modern alternative to what the BNP used to be could actually be the thing that balances it all out, so that actually Advance now looks like the golden child in the darker side of politics, as the media is going to be portraying it. Got no sound. Sorry, mate, I cannot actually hear what you're saying if anything's going. So I'm going to say goodbye right now, and I'll go and run it back. Lovely chatting to you again, buddy. I'll see you next time.
Paul. Paul. Can't hear you.
Sorry, Alan, that's me. Sorry. How you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm not too bad. That young man was shouting at you there. He said good night to you just before he went, because you didn't
Yeah.
hear
How
me.
are you?
Right. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. What important point out is what he's just done tonight has just played right into my hands, because he is a bit of an ego player. He's a bit of a boaster. I don't like boasters. I like people who are people who are quiet in the background. Now, what we need is what we have got in Ben the Beeb. In Advance, people, what we've got there is a builder, and that is what Ben the Beeb is. He's building the team, and he's building the party, and he's doing it step by step, and we need team players in it, and that is the people he's bringing in. Now, Ben the Beeb is a listener as well as a speaker, and that is exactly what Britain needs to run the course.
Yeah.
We do not want people like Nigel Farage's or anybody else, Rupert Lowe's up to date, who are businessmen, well spoken, whether he's an MP or not. We do not need people that can't be a team player. What I think, and this is only what I think the reason why Ben Beeb should not make no move whatsoever towards Rupert Lowe, because Ben Beeb built Advance with Rupert Lowe
in mind to lead advance.
He did.
So why the hell should he go towards Rupert Lowe? No, thank you. Stay where you are, bend the beat. Thank you. What a fantastic weekend that was. I enjoyed every minute of it last weekend. Now then, I think that Rupert Lowe is frightened, and he's frightened to join in advance because he's a bit of a reformist. And he wants to be a Nigel Farage. That's how he sees himself, I think. Because he can't do that in advance, because advance is not set up that way, he knows the college and the party can kick him out. And that's what he doesn't like. I'm sorry, well, that is how I see it. And how I'm seeing it, the future, I'm seeing it playing out right. It's bend the beam all the way for me, and it's advance all the way for me. And if anybody's got the right minds on, and their ears on, and the brains are working, and their eyes are wide open, not blinkered, they'll see the same as what I'm seeing. He's a team player. He's a listener, and he's also a talker. He talks when he needs to talk at the party, and he listens to what the college and the people and the policy people are saying. And he also listens to the lawyers, what the lawyers are saying, what you can do as a party. Sorry, but he's bend the beam all the way for me, Paul.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, look, call of the night for me, Alan. Well said. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said Ben's a team player. So, you know, I don't want to go off on a rant, but where is the bloody team effort from Nigel Farage? Where was it? And now, where's the team effort from Rupert Lowe? People haven't got the appetite for these single-minded people that want to go off and do their own thing. And you know, people have an appetite for a patriotic British political party that loves its people, that loves the working class, that can embrace everyone and just change this shit that we've been going through now for the last 20, 30 plus years. And Ben is the only man, I believe, that can break or is breaking that mold. He's breaking that mold. And I believe that people fear it. Nigel feared it. That's why he wanted him out. Nigel is a very clever man. He saw Ben's strengths and he didn't want him. He saw Rupert's strengths and he didn't want him. And now we're seeing a repeat of history in some respects with Rupert. I may be wrong. It'll all come out in the wash, you know, but we will see. I've got a load of super chats to get through. I will get through them because we've got other things to talk about tonight. Go on, Alan. Sorry, carry on.
I'm going to let you go because I know you're very busy. And I want to see what other people have got to say.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to let you go. But I'm telling you now, he's advanced. We've got 40,000 members coming and plus. And we're going to climb. And we're going to climb quickly. Very quickly. And the quicker, the better.
Absolutely, Alan. God bless you, mate. You have a lovely weekend. Good to see you on and good to see you doing okay. All the best, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.
We have got the bowler hat farmer up next. Good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'll come back to it in just a sec. If you have a look at your audio settings there, you should be able to get that sus. Let's have a look. Ocean Pier, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I'm very well indeed. What's on your mind?
Is this just a free-for-all, or is there a specific subject? I didn't.
Listen, this is our show. This is yours. It's a free-for-all. You can discuss anything as long as it's not what have I bought the wife for Valentine's Day, because I've not had a chance to get out yet. So
I won't mention that then. I won't get you in trouble.
No,
I don't. I guess I kind of dipped out of politics the last couple of months because I felt a bit defeated.
Yeah, washed out, right?
Yeah, I feel like we all get to a point where we feel like talking isn't making change.
Yeah.
And it can get frustrating. And where I'm at the moment is I'm just saying to myself, get through to the next general election, because that's when change is inevitable, whether we get Reform or Ben Habib in the Conservatives and the Labour Party won't be. So that's kind of how I'm helping myself get through things. But I was just listening to Mayor Toosey talk about Tommy having to relocate because of a threat to his life.
Yeah.
And the police have told him that he's not allowed to do anything to secure his safety. And I'm like, are people going to start waking up when our own patriots have got to leave their country because they're not safe?
Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. The trouble is, do you honestly think they even give a shit?
Well, I guess some people don't, do they?
I don't give a shit. And let me tell you something now, you know, let's put the politics to one side for a moment. You know, when I was in the watch business and I was robbed 3 times, you know, I wasn't allowed to defend myself. The police even came to my shop and questioned my security guard for having a can of Stopper Red on his belt. Now, Stopper Red is just a harmless dye.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they didn't even want him to carry that in case it upset someone. Never mind us getting our bloody heads kicked.
Oh, I see what you mean when you said they don't give a shit. I didn't know if you were talking about the general public. No, the police clearly don't. I haven't. Yeah, I've lost. I mean, one of my friends was a Met detective years ago now. I'm in my 50s. And the police had a different, well, you know, you grew up, we had respect for the police. You know, you didn't mess around with the police. And most of the time, if there was a bobby on the beat, they would talk to the young people and stuff like that. But there's, as far as I'm concerned, I used to be a psychologist. I feel like the next up and coming police force have been groomed. Basically, they've been groomed into believing that this ideology is more important than protecting the public, and the public have become the enemy, and it's a scary place to be.
Look, you know what? I think you're right in many instances. What I will say is, you know, I have a number of serving police officers and former police officers that watch this channel. Some of them I'm friends with. Some of them I used to be friends with. Some of them I'm not friends or, you know, whatever. They just tell me they're former police officers or whatever. And they're not all bad. I've got to tell you, there are a lot of police officers out there that utterly support this channel. They support me, they support my politics, they support the United Kingdom movement, but their hands are tied. But you're absolutely right. They are in many respects, especially the younger officers, what I call the new breed.
Yeah.
You know, the ones where they can't find a uniform that fits them.
Seriously. And also, like, if I had to do anything with the police, I would say, can you send a 50-year-old round? A 50-year-old guy that's got a family, who's lived a bit, who's probably got very different views to the younger generation. And I'm not poo-pooing the police, because they are important, but they don't seem to feel like the crimes that affect everyday people are important anymore. And it's not a nice atmosphere to live in, is it?
No, I mean, I think for me, if I was going to sum up the modern day police services, really, I mean, whereas it used to be a vocation, you know, it used to be a calling, now it's just a job and a pension.
Yeah, true.
And, you know, I was going to be a mechanic, but I can't do that, so sod it, I'll become a copper.
Yeah, because you used to have certain requirements. You had to be a certain kind of person to be able to enter the police force in the beginning, didn't you? And if you didn't have that attitude, or you didn't have that confidence, then you wouldn't have even got through, you know, the interview process. But different requirements today. But I live in Brighton, and I moved here purposefully. I came back from America, and my family are up north and I'm from down south, and I just couldn't get on up there. So I looked at different coastal places to live, and I chose Brighton because of its inclusivity and diversity, and because it's like a little town on the seaside. But I find that the place 30 or 40 years that became a safe harbour for minorities has now turned its back on certain minorities. So if you're from the Jewish faith, then you're not welcome in Brighton, it seems, anymore. And I'm finding it very difficult because I love where I live, but I feel like Brighton has become ideologically captured. And people, it just frustrates me. And I understand the psychology of people, but the bigoted views from people and the weakness and the lack of courage to stand up and say no, you know, taking one group under your wing at the expense of another is not what human beings are about.
Oh,
and
100%.
Yeah, and I just feel like, you know, I grew up learning about the Jews and Auschwitz and the terrible things that happened, and we lived in a time where we were about making sure it never happened again. And these people believe that their ideas about politics allow them to break free from the social norms of society and basically become soft activists, because that's what they're doing. And I feel like I'm surrounded by so many people with that viewpoint. I feel lost a little bit, I guess.
I mean, look, you know, it's a great point. I mean, as you know, I was living in Brighton, and it got to, I mean, people say to me, oh, you know, why did you leave the UK, etc. Well, that's a story that I've told 100 times. But let me tell you what it's like living in Brighton for me. You know, I've been spat at, threatened. My family's been spat at. I've been called a fascist. I've been shouted at in shops in Brighton, screamed at in shops in Brighton. I've been in shops in Brighton and people have told the staff not to serve me because I'm a Nazi.
Unfortunately, I believe all of it, and it's just a really difficult time. I can see the pendulum is starting to swing the other way. People are getting braver about standing up about cancel culture and, you know, whether you're a pink or purple person and how we should, you know, how you should be referred to. But I still feel like we've got a little way to go. I mean, I belong to two like neighborhood WhatsApp groups just for convenience, really, because I was new to the area, regular stuff. And I've exited out of both groups. There was a lovely older woman that posted that there was going to be a gathering for the White Hawk Food Bank, which has basically become bankrupt. All the people that were there have lost their jobs. They've got no money for food, and the community relied on that place for people that, you know, were struggling. And so the Jewish community have put together a beautiful gathering. I don't know if you're aware about the violin that got lost and then was refound. No, anyway. So there's going to be somebody there playing this 80-year-old violin that belonged to this guy that escaped Auschwitz. And there's going to be a woman there that has written a book about things. And nobody from this community responded. But there was an Asian man that belonged to a shop who passed away recently. And every single street was passing around this card to sign for this person that they didn't even know. But they couldn't go because the Jewish people are putting on, you know, an event to raise money for a charity that everybody in the community uses. They would rather not do that because all of a sudden now Jewish people are the enemy. And I'm disgusted by it.
No, look, I get it. Very interesting call, actually. As a psychologist, I'd like to get you on someday and we can talk about that as well. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I'd love to, Paul. Thank you for hearing me out and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. You have a lovely weekend. Stay safe in Brighton and stay out of the way of them nutcases.
I'm going to go to the synagogue, I think.
All the best.
All right.
Take
Cheers.
care. Bye-bye. Let me just read one or two supers out here. I'm way behind. Champagne monologues. Is he being paid to split the vote? He's talking about Rupert there, obviously, former Aaron. Love your videos from an ex-Muslim. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Ty Steve, we are overlooking the fact that Rupert has already been shot on from a great height. He obviously wants to be in a position where he is more control. Well, Ty Steve, he was offered the leadership of Advance UK. You can't get any more control than that, unless, of course, you want to be a dictator and you don't want a college underneath you that can call you, bring you to book if you get it wrong. Thank you for that. 09 Gailey. Ben and Rupert will be the duo to make the UK great again. Respect to them both. I wish and hope that is true. Stop Animal Cruelty 298. Thank you. Upset for Ben. Unsure how he feels about Tommy, and he apparently supports fox hunting. Rupert, explain, please. Kenny, I think Advance are going to have to unite with Restore now so as not to split votes and become one big major party. Still disappointed that Rupert didn't join Advance, though. Well, that is the key, isn't it? That is the big question that's going to be on everyone's lips, on everyone's mind. Why did Rupert go off and set up his own party when the dream ticket was already there? It's like if you've got a winning lottery ticket in your hand, you don't throw that away, go down the road and buy another one. You keep the winning one. You keep the ticket that you know is a winner. Debbie, thank you. Good evening, Paul. Thank you very much, Debbie. Thank you, Rob. In my opinion, we need to wait and hear from Ben first. Well, you're right, Rob, but fortunately for all our viewers tonight, you don't have to wait because you've got this mouthy git here that wants to speak about this sort of stuff and you lot in the chat that want to hear about it. So we can have a little now. No one else is watching. I'm sure we'll hear from Ben before long. Kenny, thank you, Kenny. If Advance and Restore unite, I wonder how many reform members will jump ship and join. Again, I refer the honourable gentleman to my previous answer. Reform will then fold like a pack of cards, and what will those conservatives that join Reform think then? Well, they'll probably be after joining the coalition, if there was a coalition of Ben and Rupert. But as I say, I've got to stress this now. Remember I said this. I don't see this happening. I don't see Ben and Rupert getting together now. And if they do, I tell you now, in my humble opinion, it will be despite Rupert and not because of him. Tanya, thank you, Tanya. I think Rupert has shown his true colours and I hope Ben does not join with Rupert. I will stay with Advance because trust is a big thing. 100% agree with that. Peter, why ain't this country looking after TR now? That ISIS are after him, something ain't right. Well, we know that, don't we? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. This government will probably be pleased. Lee, I have supported Ben for a long time. I have a tweet regarding Ben that's been there since the 2nd of February 2024. I stick by it, and Ben, the gentleman, liked it. He connects with people. That's what we love. Thank you very much for that, Lee. Nicola, I see Steve Laws is promoting Rupert Lowe on X tonight. It says everything. See, you guys are not stupid, are you? Caroline Velvet Deacon, I'm going with Lucy's theory. I have to believe in something good. Southeast Patriot became a member. Thank you so much. Dark Side of the Moon. Hello, Paul, Danny. This is more confusing and will create more divide. Do you know what, Dark Side of the Moon? I don't think this is as confusing as it first looks. I'm not going to say what I think. I'm going to hold my fire. Melissa, thank you, Melissa. I was hoping he would join Advance. Agree, it looks like ego, but there's another reason why not, and I hope I'm wrong because it's a little sinister. Melissa, did you just read my mind? UK Truth 81 looks like Sadiq Khan, hence he will run up for a 4th term as Mayor of London. Got people like Narinda Kaur saying it's fantastic news for Londoners. Another term of making London great. Help me, Paul. Oh dear. Oh dear. Last super for the moment. Thank you, Charlie. Hi, Paul. When are you going to do another call show? There you go. I'm on one now. Julie, good evening, honey. How are you?
I'm all right. Sorry about earlier. I was a bit
That's perfectly all right. I thought, you know what, Julie?
My bad language.
Julie, for a moment, I thought you got so fed up of me, you dropped off and fell asleep.
Never.
What's on your mind, hun?
I am going to probably upset a lot of people now.
Go on.
I'm past caring. I really am. I'm not including you in this and people like you, but I am including myself in this. We are blaming the government and having a go at Rupert and having a go at Farage, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Right? When are we looking in the mirror and having a look at ourselves? Hold on here. We have control. We have the power. The government work for us. They've just forgot about it. But all those people in London, thousands of them, I've been to every single march but one. Struggled to get there. Needed a lot of help, but got there, right? I'm not singing my own praises. But when Danny called for men to be on the beaches or just go to Dover to stand up, where are all those thousands of people then? What are we doing? What is it going to take? How many attacks? How many 2-year-old children? How many kids are we going to throw under the bus before we're all out on the streets peacefully saying no more? Enough is enough. I want my grandchildren to look back and say, well, yeah, Nan, Granddad, you got us into this mess. You let all these people in and you let this happen. But at least you bloody tried. Where are all these people? I am going to pay my council tax, but I am going to stop paying the part for the police. They are not serving me. So I'm not going to pay that anymore. I'm just going to hold that back and politely explain why. What is it going to take for the British people to stand up and say no more?
Julie, it's a very powerful and difficult call to you know, I think everything you said there, I agree with entirely. Let me go through some of that with you. I mean, look, as far as the call to go to the beaches in France, etc. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, Julie, and I'm not going to lie to my audience. Look, I get that. I get what you're saying, and I get what Danny and when they were together before they had an acrimonious party, and I get what Danny and Ryan were doing, and you know, I of course I support these guys, you know, and I want them to do well, and I want them to succeed. But the reality of it is, for me, I've got to be honest with you and say it was always going to be problematic. You know, the law was always going to get in the way, and what. You know, calling people not to arms, calling to arms is not, they didn't do that. They never pretended to do that. They always called for things to be peaceful. But rallying people to do something like that, I'm afraid, is only going to end in tears in many respects. You're going to get dads put in jail. You're going to get grandfathers put in jail. You're going to end up with another Peter Lynch, God rest his soul. And that concerns me. Danny's a lot younger than me. You know, he's you know, got more testosterone going around in his body, and I admire that, and I admire all the get up and go. But the way we win this is politically. We take power by winning politically, and we do that by uniting. So your question is, what can we do? Or what will it take for the British people to wake up? You know what, Julie? I think they're now awake. I really do. I think the British people are now awake. The problem is, because of the way we're brought up, because of our wonderful tolerant nature, going down on the beaches and having a punch up is not what your average Middle Englander wants to do. What they want to do is they want to do things properly. They want to win a general election. They want to win our country back. And we've got the answer there, right? And this is why I'm so frustrated with Rupert tonight. You know, we were actually making strides. I tell you now, Reform are shitting themselves about Advance. Absolutely crapping themselves. They're hemorrhaging members to Advance. And Rupert does this tonight. I'm thinking, what the hell? We're all getting worn out of it. But we need unity. That's what we need. We need unity. And you know, and bless your heart, you know, you're in the position you're in and you get yourself up, you get yourself out, you get yourself down to the demos. But I've got to say again, Julie, just being honest with you, because I know you're a regular viewer and I think the world of all my regular viewers. All these demonstrations, they achieve unity, they achieve a great day out, they give us a shot in the arm from a morale viewpoint, but we win this at the ballot box. That's the way we win it.
I'm not calling for.
Oh no, I know you're not. I know you're not.
No, I know you're not. Everyone should be at their councils demanding a vote. All this is peacefully. We have a voice and our voice can be heard, but it takes a lot of voices and a lot of backbone and a lot of bravery. Where are all the brave men of England gone? Where are they? Why are kids, right? So kids at school, bloody men dressing up as ladies, saying, call me Mix. And if you don't, you're in trouble. Where are the parents? Why aren't they down the school saying, excuse me, you're meant to be teaching my children how to read and write? What the hell is going on? Is it a case of, let's be honest, is it a case of, oh, it's the kid down the road that got assaulted, so it's not my kid, so that's all right?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is.
Being horrible. Is it a case of, oh well, it's not affecting me at the moment, so that's all right? Do you think that happened?
I can still hear you.
The government are getting them. Is it a case of that? Is it a case of, well, it's not affect, because it is going to affect you soon. It is going to come after you soon. Then what we're going to do?
Yeah, I think one of the things in the past, Julie, is that when the men of England or the men of Britain, the men of the United Kingdom had to stand up and fight, the government was on their side. And these days, we don't feel like they are. If we stand up for our country, and our rights and our women and our children these days, we're more likely to be arrested than given a bloody medal. And that's a big problem. Julie, I'm going to move on because I've got loads of people waiting still. Thank you so much. Yes,
I
honey.
know how busy you are, but I would really like to do something for you and your family. I did get my number passed on to you. I know how busy you are, but if you get time to give me a quick call, because I can't do it online, and you'll understand why.
Okay, but Julie, you haven't got to do anything for me and my family apart from be a viewer.
I want to. I need to feel that I'm doing something good.
Bless your heart. Well, we'll talk about that, Julie, and I'm sure, you know, at the end of the day, you know, let me just make one thing public. I would not be taking anything from you, that's for sure. So.
No, it's not financial.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just want to make that clear.
I wished it was financial.
You're going to come down and do the washing up for us, is that what you're going to do?
I'm gonna sort you out, so to your wife and viewers, please don't think I'm having a go at you, but we can't go on.
No, we get what you mean. We get what you mean. Julie, all the best, God bless you. Have a nice evening. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Helen, you are up next. Then it is Barry. Then it is Ray. Then it is Charlie. Then it is ASU Mahmood. Right, guys, no more callers this evening. The people that are already waiting, You will all get on. We've been on, where are we, for 1 hour, 49 minutes. It's been a bit of a marathon tonight, but such a big topic. Helen, good evening.
Good evening, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well. Just got a bit.
Is it okay? I've got the no echo thing on.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I've got a lot of feedback, Helen, I'm going to speak, and then when I stop speaking, I'm going to let you speak, and then I'll come back. I'm going to mute my mic. Go for it.
Okay, there's one thing that's not been mentioned about what Rupert's doing. He did say on the video about a coalition of local parties. So like the party they've set up in Great Yarmouth First, I believe he's aiming to do that across the country rather than just having MPs. I think that's why he hasn't joined Advance. He's told us that he doesn't think party politics are the way to go after his experience and after seeing how divisive it all is. So I think he intends to change the system. I think he wants to set things up so it works in a different way. I think he's got a bigger picture in mind. I'm hoping that he is factoring Ben in this, because he's always said, he said to Carl Benjamin on that interview, and he's said to a lot of other people, that Ben is fantastic and everybody must support Ben. Ben wants what's best for the country. And he has invited Ben to get involved with this. But personally, I trust Ben. I have full faith in Ben. So I'm going to wait and see what Ben does, because whatever it does, I'm sure it'll be the best for Britain or United Kingdom. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Helen. Really appreciate that. Interesting what you say about Rupert potentially. I've just muted your mic, by the way, Helen. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, if Rupert thinks he's going to change the system, I mean, I'd love to know how one man is going to do that. You know, he's got one hell of a goddamn battle on his hands. But look, you know, again, I reiterate, I like what Rupert says. I like Rupert Lowe, you know, but people are going to be saying, oh, well, you're knocking Nigel Farage, now you're knocking Rupert Lowe, you know, you're a Ben Habib sycophant, you know, Ben can't do anything wrong. No, it's not that at all. You know, I like Rupert and I wish he was PM. But I just think he's got a task. He's not a young man, and he's got a massive task in front of him. And I'm not sure that, you know, time's on his side. Helen, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'm going to move you out only because of that echo. As always, thank you for coming on. Barry, you're up next. Barry, good evening.
Oh, good day there, Paul. Yeah, what I'm worried about is if we've got all these ones, like we've got Advance, we've got Restore, you know, and Reform, they might divide the vote. And in Australia, we've got what we call a preferential voting, where you can give a vote for one, and if someone is on someone else's right wing or got similar ideas, you get a second vote and a third vote. And this means that the voting is not divided up when, you know, you might get Labor against all these other more right-wing blokes, and Labor ends up winning with a very small percentage of the vote. But you obviously haven't got that there. It'd be something to look at into the future. But do you think these blokes will get together and work out, you know, what seats they're going to go for? And
well, that
would be the other option.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? You know, and at the end of the day, my heart would love to, Barry. You know, that, I mean, look, from the moment I started talking about politics, my only ambition was to try and unite people that previously perhaps wouldn't have united. It's a big ask, right? And I've succeeded in some areas and failed in others. But, you know, do I see the right uniting? Honestly, no. Too many egos.
Paul, I've got a bit of a problem here. I can hear you like in stereo, and it's very hard to talk. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's going to be a setting on the back end of your audio there. If you go on to audio and hit cancel background noise or echo, that should work for you.
It's an echo. Is it an echo? Is it?
Yeah, it's an echo.
Maybe if I turn down the volume, it might make a difference.
Give that a try.
But if I turn it down too far, I can't hear you.
Always best in future. It's always best if you can to use headphones. How's that, my friend? Is that any better?
No, I can hear two of you. You know.
Right.
And it seems to be recorded. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, sorry, Barry. Unfortunately, my friend, I'll have to let you go only because I've got other people waiting to come in, and unfortunately, we can't sort out the audio whilst we're live. Sorry about that, Barry. Roy, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Paul. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, all right.
You're on a marathon tonight, aren't you?
I'm on a marathon. Look, my moderator, Claire and Ian, have both said to me, could I slow down the chat? We're already in slow mode. That's how popular the show is. Look, there's thousands of messages coming through.
Yeah, I've been watching. Well, thanks for having me on, Paul.
My pleasure.
Well, I don't know where to start, really. Where do you want to start? I mean, we can speak about the reform and the advance and Rupert. I mean, really, I think the only way they can go forward is to try and unite somehow.
I agree.
You know, I know that everyone's had their issues. You know, Nigel's not been really that positive regarding Ben and Rupert. But I mean, you know, surely it's a joint cause, isn't it? And you know, to guarantee a win in a few years, if those guys got together, they'd be unstoppable.
Look, you're absolutely right. And if I had my way, I'd get them in the pub tomorrow afternoon. I'd sit around a table, Rupert, Ben,
yeah,
Nigel, Nick Tanconi.
Yeah, I was going to mention Nick as well, yeah.
I'd get them all round the table at the pub. I'd buy them a pint each. I'd sit down and say, right, sort this fucking mess out.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we finish these pints, we're all going to shake hands. We're all going to join, and we're going to win our country back, and we're going to smash the next general election to pieces.
Yeah.
We're going to rip up the rule book, and we're going to make this bloody country great again like it used to be.
100%.
Now, you 3-4 guys have the power to do that.
Yeah.
Right? What do you love the most? Do you love the power, the money, the ego, or do you love your country?
Well, this is it. I think there's egos involved here, and really they need to be put aside. And
100% they do. 100% they do.
For God's sake, just have a sit down, iron out your problems, and get together, and that that the issue would be solved.
Well, here's the thing, Ray. Right, I'm sure there'll be. Look, we've got over 2,000 people watching right now. I would guess that probably 2/3 of them have just said, yeah, I agree with what Paul's just said there. Sit around a table, get together and win the next general election together, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Out of those 4 people that I mentioned, only one of them is prepared to do it.
Yeah, I got you, yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? And it all goes, I mean, with Rupert, I don't know if it's an ego issue or what, I don't know. Nigel, well, we've seen what he's done and how he treats the other guys. I just, for the sake of the country, get your heads together and, put some kind of cohesive plan together and just move forward. And, they would just absolutely demolish the other 2 parties.
Yeah.
This is what I don't get. Sorry, I've just got to say another thing. That lady, was it Julie who was on before?
Yeah.
Now, that lady is exactly the kind of person that we need to help. She's obviously, how can I put it? She's very upset about the way this country's heading.
Emotionally distressed.
Yeah. and there are thousands, probably hundreds of thousands,
There are
like her. And these guys have got to understand how much it means to normal people, and just to sort their issues out. As simple as that, really. Whether that will happen or not, another thing.
Look, Ray, you know, I hear from people like Julie every day of my life, you know, and we spend, believe it or not, in the background, we help as many people. I say we, I mean I, in all honesty, I try and help as many people as I possibly can. It's an impossible task for one man, but what we can do is be there. At least we're here online, giving people the chance to have their say. And I know that so many people say to me how important these videos and these streams are, because it lets them get something off their chest, or they feel they're not alone. So many people have told me they thought they were going mad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if people are a little bit isolated, you know, they're watching the news, they're watching YouTube, or however they get their information, you know, it will send you round the bend. Simple as that. I mean, it's driving me mad, you know, the whole situation, like lots of other people. But, you know, if you don't have a lot of socialisation or anything like that, it really does play on your head. And, you know, this is all the things that I don't think, you know, even probably Ben does, but the other, you know, Rupert and Nigel, I think they are kind of grassroots, but they're not, because I don't think even they fully understand how strongly people feel about things.
Look, for me, Nigel will be the best of a very, very bad bunch, but I'm afraid I don't have any trust in him. I don't have any trust in the people he's bringing in. I mean, look, would a reform government be better than what we got now? Come on, of course it would. I mean, you know, bloody, you know.
Or anything would really.
Anything would be better, yeah. Anything would be better than what we got right now. But is it the answer to our long-term problems? No.
No.
Will it solve the problems? No.
I mean, you know, the amount of Tories they've been bringing in, it's kind of, it's watering down what it was initially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people realise that, hence why a lot of people are turning towards Ben. A lot of Rupert supporters as well. But yeah, it all boils down to the same thing. Just get together. You know, it wouldn't take, like you said, it wouldn't take a great deal. Just sit the three of them down, and Nick Tenconi. You know, I'd like him to see him involved, because, you know, he's a real patriot.
Nick's a good lad. You know, look, I've got a lot of time for Nick, you know, but he's more, for me, he's a better activist than he is politician.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does come down to that in the end. I think that's why, you know, he's not rough around the edges, but how he get on in that environment, I don't know. He's very articulate. You know, he knows his stuff. But, you know, I think, and that's why Rupert will be such a good addition, because, you know, he's a great orator. He comes across very well, as Ben does as well.
Yeah, they're both prime ministerial material when they speak, aren't they? Obviously, you know, I mean, Nick's a little bit more working class, although a lot better spoken than I am, you know. But listen, you know, I used to think to be prime minister, you had to come from a certain background or talk a certain way. But after Keir Starmer, I think, you know, I think the Rottweiler could have a go at it. And,
well,
you know,
I don't know. I think the postman would do a better job.
Yeah, exactly. And if we get Angela Rayner in, well, I don't know. I mean, that would be probably the embarrassment of the century. Century. Yeah, sorry, Ray, I'm going to move on, mate. I've got a couple more to get through before we call it a night. Thank you so much, mate. All the best for coming on. Really appreciate it. Charlie, you are up next, my friend. Charlie, good evening.
Hello, Paul. How are you, mate? You good?
I'm very well, Charlie. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry I'm late on your show. I've been out all night at a pub party. So a
young man been out having a good night out on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
Oh yeah. So I don't understand what the hell Rupert Lowe is thinking, right? Because I thought when Rupert and Ben both left Reform, I thought the plan was they were going to get together. They were going to, you know, make a party to fight at the right of Reform, to fight Reform, and to try and gain the right-wing vote.
Yeah.
Now, no one, and this is not a go at you, Paul, or anything like that, but I'm saying other people, they can't keep going at Reform and saying that they're not the right people when none of the other right-wing people can get it together.
Yep. Yeah, no, look, mate. Listen, I totally get that, and you're right. That is the impression that I think everyone was under. That it was only a matter of time before Rupert and Ben got their act together and got together. But this, I described it right at the very top of the show. I described this decision from Rupert, sorry, as baffling.
It is baffling because I'm just like, Rupert, what are you doing? Because all he's going to do is split the right more, and all he's going to do is allow the tit whisperer to get in. And you know I'm on about by saying that. And
David.
Sorry, I just wanted the main reason I wanted to come up tonight. I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, sure.
Now, and this is not from me. I've heard it come from Ann Middleton's mouth as well. And he's turned around and said that no foreign backgrounds of any kind should be allowed to hold any higher political positions in this country. They should be British born and they should be from Britain. Because if you go to America, you don't see any foreigners leading America. They're all American. I know Trump's mum was born in Scotland, but he was born in America. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be born in America to be president.
Exactly. So my question to you is, obviously Ben Habib is originally from Pakistan, right? Now, we've seen Sadiq Khan. You know what he's like. He's in it for his own people. I mean, I had a debate with someone from his background the other day, and they were saying he's a decent man. I mean, good God. I mean, I don't know what on earth these people are drinking or what they're smoking or whatever, right? But so my question is, do you think that, like, a man, because obviously Ben Habib, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but can we trust him knowing that he's not British born, he's not originally from this country, and do you get where I'm coming from? He doesn't know.
Get where you're coming from. I do very much get where you're coming from. Let me answer the first question. Can we trust Ben? I believe 100%. And there are many reasons why I trust Ben. And I've had the benefit of any advantage of being in Ben's personal company. And we've spoken about the past and, when we were kids, and Ben resonates with me in so many ways because we're not too dissimilar. I'm a little bit older than Ben. But the answer is yes, I trust him 100%. I guess the next question would be, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, is do I believe that someone that's been born outside of the UK or isn't 100%?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask in that way.
Yeah. Do I believe that someone that was born outside the UK that's not ethnically 100% British, should they be allowed to be Prime Minister or even in politics in the United Kingdom?
I know you're trying to be careful how to answer it because you don't want to get the social media police on your doorstep. Do you know what I mean?
It's not even that, mate. Do you know what? I tell you what, I've always said it's not about the colour of people's skin. It's
not about that at all.
The colour of their heart, right?
Yeah.
But I've never met anyone, and I mean anyone, and you can name whatever person that you like. You could mention Tommy, you could mention anyone. Yeah, I've never met anyone that is more patriotic and more proud to be British than Ben Habib. Now, Ben, don't forget, Ben's mum was British. Okay, so that it's not like he was born in Pakistan to Pakistani parents. There's no previous connection to Britain. Ben is as British as it gets. Yes, he's a bit darker than me. Does that bother me? Absolutely not.
No, it's not about the colour of his skin. I was just wondering because he's ethnically he wasn't born in. But that's the only thing I was asking is that should someone who's not born in Britain be allowed to be our Prime Minister?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in Ben's case, I would definitely say yes. What I would say is, and I will concede this. I do not believe that we should have a parliament that is full of people that weren't born in the UK or are not what I would describe as provably British. In other words, for an example, Shabana Mahmood, both of her parents are Pakistani.
Yeah,
I believe Shabana Mahmood was born here, I believe. I'm not sure on that, but as someone whose both parents were born and bred overseas, as someone that doesn't follow the religion of the country and who has previously said that Islam is the most important thing in her life, I think that should exclude her from Parliament. Personally, that's my view.
Yeah.
Ben is a Christian. His mother is British. He's a big follower and a believer in Christianity. And frankly, if there was a war tomorrow and he was the right age, he would be the first one on the front line to fix bayonets. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and just before I go off, I just wanted to say a quick message to everyone, Ant Middleton, Rupert Lowe, every single person, get your fucking acts together. Get your acts together, right? Because Ben's got a party that wants to challenge reform. How are people supposed to vote for another party other than reform right now when none of you can get your acts together? Because you're leaving the likes of Paul that wants to unite the right. You're leaving him, stranded. He's fine. I saw your video a couple of weeks ago, Paul, when you was like, everyone needs to unite the right. I saw the passion in your voice. And you're not being listened to. And I can tell how frustrated you are. And right now, we're going to get a reform government, I think, next, because no one else can get their act together. Nigel Farage is going to be sitting there laughing tonight at Advance and Rupert Lowe because they've not joined forces. And I feel like this is the only way we're going to get this fucking country back. And I agree with you. Everyone, we need to get them around a fucking table and we need to get them on the same fucking page under one party, whether it's reform, whether it's Advance, or whether it's Restore, whatever. I don't care what the name is. Just fucking unite and just win the next general election. Because like you said, we can only win this if we win it politically. And right now we're being washed down the fucking drain. Sorry for the language.
Charlie? Well said, mate. Well said.
You, mate. I'll let you go because I don't want to get the police at me door.
All the best. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Mate.
Take care, mate. Take care,
mate. Bye.
Last caller of the evening is ASU Mahmood. Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you, mate?
Good.
Good. What's on your mind?
So I'm a British Pakistani ex-Muslim. I'm a member of Advance UK and Restore Britain. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling very, very pessimistic about the future.
What has made you feel that way tonight?
Mainly because of the possibility of the right-wing vote being split.
Well, I mean, look, there was talk of splits before, wasn't there? And now, of course, with this tonight, it's not exactly helpful. What's your take on what Rupert has announced tonight?
Well, there are some policies that I do like from Restore Britain, like getting rid of halal slaughter and kosher slaughter. But there's also policies from Advance UK that I like, and there's also policies from UKIP, such as freezing immigration for 5 years. So I'm kind of split between these three parties.
Mm. Wouldn't it be good if all three could get together and get their acts together and get it all sorted, like Charlie was just saying a minute ago?
Yeah.
What's your what was your background again?
I'm a British Pakistani ex-Muslim.
Okay, so what's your message to the ethno-nats out there at the moment who are making a lot of noise about unless you can trace yourself back 150 years and blah blah blah, you're not worthy of being in this country. What do you make of that? That must be really painful to listen to.
It is very painful to listen to. I've actually wrote a book called Observations of a British Pakistani Patriot, and I talk about my fear of the British Pakistani community not fixing itself and giving itself a bad name until the point that we're all remigrated. And I've read books like Mein Kampf and stuff like that, so I understand where these people are coming from, and I completely understand their points. I've talked to people from the Homeland Party and Patriotic Alternative, and we've come to a mutual understanding. Like if I put myself in the mind of a British person in the 70s, the Nazis said that if they lose, the white people will be replaced. And look what happened. You have the Windrush generation. You have a bunch of migrants coming in, and it's very sad. It's very it pains me to admit this. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, it's conversations like this and callers like yourself that, you know, really, you know, hit home for a lot of people. You know, I've always said from the day that I started the channel that for me, all that matters in our country right now is the colour of your heart, not the colour of your skin. And, you know, people like yourself prove that. And I get probably more stick off what I would call the real far right than I do off of anyone else. You know, I'm called a traitor and,
yeah,
you know, other names like that. But, you know, like, I believe that you don't have, I believe that you don't have to be 100% ethnically British to be able to love this country.
I agree. Like, I want to believe that, but, you know, part of me is just, I don't know.
That's, are you saying that part of you is losing hope in that?
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, I see Pakistan, for example. Pakistan is a multiracial society. There's many different ethnicities, and they all compete with each other. And, you know, I'm beginning to believe that maybe the in-group biases between the different races is perhaps is biological, you know.
Well, mate, you know, look, you know, hang on in there. You say you're a member of Advance, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good man. What do you make of Ben as a leader?
I think he's very honest, and I admire him a lot. I also admire Rupert Lowe as well, especially because of the grooming gang inquiry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we all admire Rupert Lowe and the grooming gang inquiry. I'm sure we all do. I mean, we all share that thought, and we're very thankful to him. And, you know, I see, you know, so many good things that he's doing. I'm just confused, just absolutely confused. Mate, I'm going to let you go because I've got Richard. He's coming. He's what do they say? They always come, the superstars always come in late. Thank you so much for coming on, Mahmood.
Bye.
Really appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
mate. You have a great weekend, brother. Take care, mate.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There he is, Tricky
Mate.
Dicky.
Oh, it's not me that's tricky. It's Rupert Lowe that's tricky. Let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Before we go any further, Richard, you know I've been on for 2 hours, 16 minutes. We've still got over 2,000 people on them, mate. Now they know you're back on. They'll all be piling back in.
I might lose a lot of friends tonight. I don't care. I might lose a lot of subscribers on my channels. I don't care. I've put a statement out. I got straight off the plane. My wife had sent me a text. So yeah, she sent me a text telling me exactly what had happened, and we knew it was coming, or we had an idea it was coming. It's wrong. It's treacherous. It's hypocritical. It's fueled by ego. And also, I believe it's fueled by ethno-nationalism. I'm just going to call it out, Paul. Listen, do you know what, mate? My country's at stake here, right? And we've got a solution. I keep saying we've got all the tools in the box. Now, these numpties, right? These egotistical ethno-nats, right? I'm going to explain something about this idea of ethno-nationalism, right? At the moment, there's meant to be about, I think, less than 6% of the British population. I think it's more, but around 6 to 10% are of the demographic that's causing all the problem. We know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Indians, no problem. Filipinos, no problem. Poles, no problem. People from Spain, no problem. People from Christian parts of Africa, no problem, right? The problem's coming from one community, right? One set of people that are coming into the country. So ethno-nationalism, what we need the Sikhs, we need the Hindus, we need the Jews, we need the black Christians. We need all them on our team, right, for what's going to come. We need them all voting for us. We need them all supporting the political parties that we support, particularly the Christian people. Christian people come to this country. They buy into Advance all day long, right? What Rupert has done is cynical. It's driven by ego. And this is a man, listen, yes, again, I know people that were friends of mine that were involved in giving evidence of that grooming inquiry. Kudos for that. That's fine. But if his actions now stop Advance becoming a party that will get, now I don't think they will. I think Advance will prevail, and I think Rupert will be seen. Rupert will be seen as Donald Trump always calls their enemies. Rupert will be seen as one of the biggest losers in British politics because he's backed the wrong horse. I've just explained the reason why ethno-nationalism wouldn't work. Even if ethno-nationalism was morally right, but it's also morally wrong because it's racism. I met Connor Tomlinson at that advanced thing. He was sent by Rupert to spy, him and some other guy, sent to spy at the advanced thing, right? And Connor Tomlinson said to me, "Oh, all politics is identity politics. Not on our watch, mate. Not on our watch. No, because our politics is a politics of genuine inclusion, irrespective of color or creed, right? That's what the politics that advance is promoting, and it is very, very Christian as well, because obviously we're living in a Christian nation. It's all about defending our Christian culture and our Christian constitution. What is Rupert Lowe playing at, Paul? There's no excuse for what he's done. He must never be forgotten or forgiven for what he's trying to do, because whatever way anyone looks at it, he is deliberately trying to split and undermine the vote. And I believe Ben will stay strong. I don't believe Ben's going to be pushed around or bullied by these ethno-nats and these wannabe Tory boys that have wrapped themselves around Rupert Lowe. I believe, to a certain extent, I do believe he is getting old, right? And he is maybe failing a little bit, and he's listening to these young bucks that are whispering in his ear like Grimly Worm. So you can just see Connor Tomlinson, sidling up on his knee and whispering in his ear, "Oh, Rupert, you've got to do this. Piss off. This is my country that's at stake, right? This is my country, and I'm not going to bend or bow to any of these people, right? Because we've got the plan, we put it in place. It's took us 8 years to get to where we are now, right? And these little boys that couldn't beat the skin off a rice pudding are putting our country in a situation where we may be driven to an unwinnable civil war. That's what these idiots are doing with their ethno-nationalism, with their little vanity projects. I've never been as angry with someone on the right of politics as I am with Rupert Lowe and his little cronies. And we could name them all. And I'm going to name them all. Carl Benjamin, Connor Tomlinson, right? Wrong'uns, you're flipping wrong'uns. That's all there is to it. And I'm not going to be, no, I don't like Rupert, and I don't like Connor Tomlinson. I don't like what these people are doing. I don't care anymore because I'm so angry about it. I'm so angry. We just had that amazing conference, right? We saw exactly what Advanced UK is about, and Rupert had his spies there. He had Grimly Wormtongue there, right, sitting in the front, sitting in the auditorium, listening to everything. Not happy, Paul. Not happy, mate.
We kind of knew this was coming, didn't we?
Yeah. We knew the traitor was going to do what he did. Yeah. We knew there was a treasonous move. You've got to remember, Paul. Let's put this in context, right? 3 weeks ago, Ben took Rupert out to dinner, right? Okay, and offered him to be leader of Advance UK, to bring everybody together. So nobody can say that this is on Ben, right? Ben's not dividing anyone. Ben has done nothing wrong. Ben has acted with honor and integrity. And those snakes and the chief snake himself, Rupert, have flipping stabbed Ben in the back. And I'm disgusted. I want nothing to do with them. Like I say, kudos for the grooming gang thing. Great stuff. I'm not sure what's going to come of it, but kudos. But the reality is, this is the future of our country. And I tell you something now, if the grooming gangs were bad, see when those rats take over that want to impose that crazy evil religion on all of us, when they get the balance of power, which they will, if our vote is irrevocably split, then we're in for a world of pain, Paul. We're going to end up with progressive, Labour, lefty Islamic coalitions until our country is totally broken and totally destroyed. And Rupert, mate, if you ever see this, Connor Tomlinson, Carl Benjamin, this is on you guys. Hope you're strutting around with your little chests out and your nice little fancy suits and your horn rimmed glasses. Wrong'uns, the whole lot of them, Paul. I'm sorry. I'm absolutely livid. Absolutely livid. I'm disgusted. That's it.
Well, I knew that's how you would feel, Richard. And when the news came through, obviously you've been travelling back from London. I mean, I've got to be a little bit more careful what I say because, I do have a certain responsibility.
To what?
To the party,
Do you know what? I can guarantee you. See everything I've just said there? I don't think Ben would have a problem with any of it. Okay? This isn't, you know, Rupert has pressed the nuclear button, right? I said if he does this, I don't care if my channel goes down to 10 subscribers. I'm going to tell the truth, right? Because I'm sick of all this mealy mouth pussyfooting about. Rupert has done something absolutely unforgivable, and he needs to wind his neck in. Why do it? Why didn't he just join with Ben? He could have been leader of Advance UK today, but instead he's gone on. It's unforgivable, Paul. It's absolutely unforgivable, and I'm convinced it's because of these ethno-nats.
I feel the same way in the respect that I'm hugely disappointed. Hugely disappointed doesn't even begin to describe it, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, I'm just hoping that good prevails over evil. That's
I do feel, I will say this, I'll go as far as saying this, I do feel there's an element of treachery involved there with Ben. I mean, Ben has worked his balls off to get this to where we are.
Let's get it right. Those rats that surround Rupert Lowe, right? Those rats, those snakes, those slithering little wannabe politicians, right? I'm being nice about them at the minute, Paul. I'm being nice about them.
Oh, Richard, go on.
Those young men, well, the boys that are around Rupert, right? They've slithered up to him and they've poisoned his mind about Ben, because it was them that were saying anyone not born in the UK shouldn't be able to hold office in the British government. It was them that started all this nonsense. Now, listen, at the end of the day, I am a proud Brit. So I'm not going to have any of these ethno-nats that have never put a military uniform on, right? Never put their lives in danger for this country. I put my life in danger when I was in the military and as I've been doing this activism. And I'll tell you something, sometimes it's been in danger from some of those rats on the far right, okay? We've stood toe-to-toe with them on numerous occasions. All of us have that have been involved in this, because we know what we believe and we know what we're driven by. And it's not by this ethno-nat, soft, you know, they use the word nativism. It's just another word for racism. I'm done with it, Paul. I'm going to stand on what I believe. And if it means nobody follows me, that's absolutely fine. I don't care. I don't care, because my country's at stake. And these people would happily have us trot into a bloodbath, and then they trot off and write doctoral theses on it in some American university while the country burns. I'm done with them, Paul. I'm done with them all. You know, what we've got there in Advance UK is an amazing project, an amazingly powerful project. And like I say, I think we'll prevail, but I'm still going to be very, very angry with these people, because they are traitors. They are treasonous wretches. Simple as that.
I'm just going through the chat, Rich, as you're chatting there. Well, you certainly fired up the audience, mate. Let's have a little look. Yeah, Ben and Rupert should have stuck together. Their party would have been huge by now.
I want to just jump in there. Yeah. Ben did stick together. It's Rupert that went out on his own. Yeah. Rupert went rogue way back in whenever it was, whenever Ben launched Advance. Okay, Rupert was meant to be involved in that, right? And there was other people, right? Other very prominent people that I've already named in this podcast, right? That were meant to stand with him, and they stabbed him in the back because they're flipping rats. They're rats.
Stephen,
I'll tell you what. I'll never share a platform with those men again. I'll never stand near them again, and I mean that. And you know, it's too far. They've gone too far.
Stephen Morrison says, just because you think Ben is your mate, Paul and Richard blind to reality. Ben is, I like to class Ben as a friend, but trust me when I tell you, that would not blind me to reality.
Let me just explain something to this, whoever this geezer is, right? Let me just explain something to you, right? This is a project we've been working on for many years. This isn't just about Advance. This is a political ideology that will save this country, okay? It's against the radical extremism that is trying to destroy this country from many different sides. And Rupert has just shackled his wagon to the radical extremists on the far right. Whether he likes it or not, that's what he's done. He's been, I think, do you know what? Maybe Farage is right. Maybe he is a little bit doting. Maybe he's into his dotage. You know, who knows? Who knows? But he's listened to very, very bad advice. And you see, the thing is, Paul, this is my country that's at stake. My children, my grandchildren's future. So I've got a right to say what, and if people, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care. They can say it to my face. They can say it behind my back. They can say it in the comments. I don't care. I'm beyond all that.
Yeah.
Because this is the life and death of the United Kingdom.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, my answer, Stephen, my answer to your question is I used to get criticised when I worked at Fulham, and I criticised certain managers that we had whilst I was there. People would say to me, "Oh, you know, it's because he's not matey with you." Listen, I love me mum, right? But I wouldn't want her as manager of me football club. So it's got nothing to do with friendship or love or it's all about the right person for the job.
It's not just that, Paul. It's the right ideology.
The right ideology, absolutely.
And this is ideology that we have been working on. A small team of us have been working on this ideology for many, many years. And I know we've got the right ideology. I know we've got the right ideas. And I believe we'll still win. But that doesn't mean I'm going to show any mercy to these people, these rats, these snakes. I'm not going to show them any mercy. None whatsoever. No, I hope their project fails dismally. I hope it fails dismally. And they're shown for what they are.
Brinks May, I saw one of your messages a minute ago saying that you called me out. If you ain't going to say anything, Paul, what's the point? I didn't see the message, mate, unfortunately. I've had about 6,000 messages tonight. Unfortunately, I don't see them all. I flick through them. If I do see your message, I'll do my best to answer. Whatever.
Anyway, Paul, mate,
yeah,
listen,
Richard,
I've been traveling. I'm going to go and get my head down. I know where my colours are nailed to. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to break. And I suggest everybody else does the same. And sees this for what it is. It's a betrayal of the British people. Because this is, people talk about, I'll tell you why. Because people say, oh, you guys set up something in competition reform. Yeah, because you know what? We know exactly what reform are. They're wrong-uns. And Rupert Lowe knows, and his little minions know exactly what Advance UK are doing. Why did they do this? They had the audacity to attend the launch of Advance UK's policy, and they're gonna go against it. It's just wrong. I'm sorry. That's me. I'm gonna go, Paul, because I'm really angry, as you can tell.
Yeah, all the best, Richard. Thanks for hopping on, mate. Take it easy.
Mate.
All the best. Take care, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So there you go. That's Richard. No punches pulled as always. Let's have a little look here. Rupert is an MP with a huge following. Preaching to the choir in an echo chamber won't change that. Let me get through the last of the supers. Let's have a little look. Go West is a new member. Go West Media. Thank you very much, Charlie. Can you put a link in, Paul? We've done that. Thank you, Charlie. Shane McCann. Appreciate that. New member. James Bond. Who should our soldiers die for? Ben 410. We don't want our soldiers dying for anyone. Raven. I don't think Rupert likes the college. It holds the leader accountable. I don't think he likes that. Melissa Phillips, I was hoping I was wrong, but looks like Richard is thinking the same. Melissa. Charlie, thanks, Paul, for letting me on. Apologies for the language. I just get very passionate, and the right are really annoying me. Just unite, FFS. Charlie, don't worry about the language, mate. It's way past 9 o'clock, and I'm sure we're all grown-ups. Well, that is a stream and a half tonight, 2.5 hours, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't done so already, please drop me a thumbs up. Let me know in the chat what you think about what we've had to say tonight. What do you think about what Richard has came on this evening and blown the whole thing apart? Let me know what you think about what Richard had to say. Obviously, he's a very strongly opinionated man, but I will say this, Richard is a man of integrity. And he says what he feels from the heart. Whether you agree with him or not, that's up to you. Thank you for joining me, as always. There were so many other subjects I wanted to go through tonight. We had literally, it's been the busiest week in bloody recent history for news-wise, but maybe we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. God bless you all. And as always, of course, make sure you look after those wonderful children. We will see you soon.